the state's key witness in the Tshegofatso Pule murder trial has told the court how he parked his car, grabbed Pule by her hand and instructed her to get out of the car before shooting her. Malepane, who's already been convicted for Pule's murder, was cross-examined today. He maintains Pule's boyfriend at the time, Tshegofatso, hired him to kill her. Let's get an update from our reporter, Silindelo Masikane. Slee, this is just utterly grim, but you got details today of Pule's last few hours. Tell us about them.
Yeah, so once more, Sally, another emotional day in the South Gauteng High Court where Malepane was back in the witness box for cross-examination by the defense. I must say the defense is really taking their time with Malepane, going through every single detail around the plot to have Tshegofatso killed, Malepane's role in it, Shoba's role in it, but really focusing and zooming in on the statements made by Malepane to the police initially, as well as his statement during the plea agreement. So today officially marked his second day in the witness box for cross-examination. And today the defense went into more detail in terms of questioning around the moment when Malepane picked up Pule from Shoba's complex and what transpired after that. So what Malepane said, and this is the first time we're hearing these details, is that Malepane says, in fact, he had to convince Pule before getting into the car to actually come into the car. Pule had actually wanted Shoba to accompany her. Shoba said he's feeling a bit tired, so Malepane tried to convince her, saying, look, I'm going to take you home, you have nothing to worry about. Eventually, she got into the car. He drove towards Noordgesig, and she noticed that this is not the route home. This is not the route to Meadowlands. And he said to her, look, I just need to drop something off, and then I will continue with our journey to take you back home to Meadowlands. He then stopped at a fault near a juvenile facility, he described it as, ordered her to get out of the car with a gun in hand, shot her, and then picked her up and put her back in the car. He drove around for a couple of hours, deciding then to go and hang her body in Durban Deep in Roodepoort. Now, if you would remember, Malepane is alleging that Shoba hired him to kill Tshegofatso Pule because Shoba wanted to hide the pregnancy that Pule was carrying his child, and that the murder was actually supposed to look like a suicide. So the defense then put it to Malepane that why would you shoot her if the intention of you being hired to kill Pule was to make her death look like a suicide? And he said that, you know, he just, without consulting Shoba, decided that he was going to kill her, and I quote, shoot her rather, and I quote, after shooting her, I was confused. Nothing made sense. I was traumatized. It was a disaster. I wanted it over and done with. I didn't have the guts to hang her alive. So that is why he says he decided to shoot her. And I think many would ask, why is the defense then laboring on so much on these statements, these conflicting statements between the police statement as well as the one he made in his plea agreement? And I think what we've been seeing over the past 2 days, Sally, is a character assassination of Malepane. I think what the defense is trying to do is to discredit his testimony as well as his statements, because in particular in his statement to the police, he tried to pin Shoba to the actual crime scene, linking him and trying to make it seem as though he was actually there, whereas in the plea agreement statement, of course, he says he came out with the truth. So I think what the defense is trying to show with these constant references to these two statements is that if he could lie initially to the police, why should the court believe that he was actually telling the truth in his plea agreement?
All right, thank you for that update. Do appreciate it. eNCA reporter Silindelo Masikane.